everyone, thanks so much for joining me. In this pose focus video, we're going to do shoulder stand and showing it in a myriad of ways, and still there are so many variations, so many ways of getting into it. I want to show it upright first and then show a couple of options for how to enter. I have a whole lot of props available. This is a pose you could do with no props or many. Okay, and you might find it helpful to be near a wall as well. So the first thing that I have, I'm just going to step back a little bit here so you can see, is a strap. So the strap, I'm going to use this with my upright demonstration, and it's going to be for really giving some counter resistance to the arms. I have a really long strap, just in case you have one with buckles. I just wanted to show how to use it. So first of all, you want it smooth, okay, and then take one end through both and then back in between. So what's really significant about using a strap is that when you get it to where you need, okay, that it doesn't loosen while you're using it, because that will not be helpful. Okay, so I want this loop to be fairly small, shoulder distance apart. Okay, and I'm going to take it back behind. So I'm just going to step back here so you can see. So if we get a sense of the line of shoulder stand while we're standing, okay, that might give us some information about what we may need when we lie down. Okay, so getting this somewhere around the forearms in a way that's fairly comfortable, trying to get it here. Okay, so and just taking the arms back behind. So I'm standing with my feet center lines parallel, okay, and the arms back behind me. Now a couple of things that I do automatically is with the head of my arm bone and the shoulder joint, I internally rotate, which sends the shoulders forward initially, but then with that, I pull back and I have space, okay, and then pressing the forearms into the strap, I grow longer, okay. So whatever you do, you want your organization to enhance your length and space, okay? And even here, I feel like as I'm trying to press my forearms into the strap, feeling the strap against the forearms, I really feel like I would want my arms closer toward each other. Okay, so you might notice that about yourself. Anyway, lengthen, really rooting down and bending the elbows to bring your hands to your hips. So the very fact that I can feel my elbows are flaring out to the sides means I really could use a little bit more tightness here on the strap. Okay, again, if you don't have a strap, it's okay. Okay, you want to pretend that you do, that when you're reaching that you have one here, okay? And then when you bend your elbows, you're really restricted, and you have to keep those elbows in toward your body, because the more you're able to do that, the more length and space you'll have in the pose. So final thing here, so again, root across the feet, really lengthen the spine, okay, feel all that space, and then with length in the neck, tuck the chin, lift the sternum toward the chin, send the chin toward the sternum, and just notice how this feels the neck, the shoulders, keep growing longer. If we really flip this around, we'll have our feet probably like this, with the heels lifted up off the ground, but still very, very intentional. Okay, and if there's a big gap here, okay, as far as a lot of space, this is kind of hard to describe, but this may be where you discover you're going to need some support, some blankets or such. The support would go underneath the shoulders, upper back, not underneath the head. So no matter what you do, I'd really encourage you to keep any sort of props out from underneath the head, okay? So hopefully that'll make sense here soon. But some people use the strap throughout the entire pose to really keep that sense of being bound and being supported, and you could absolutely do that. I find it a bit awkward, so I don't tend to use it, but I pretend that it's there. So once you figure out if the strap is going to be helpful here, and you get this sense, okay, of the energy, the work, then we want to also know, how does it feel to put pressure on the back of the head? How does that impact the neck and the shoulders? Because when we flip this around, there's going to be weight, okay? And that'll also, again, tell us if we're going to need any sort of support underneath the shoulders, such as a blanket. Okay, so bringing the hands back behind. Okay, you can interlace fingers, but you want to make sure to take the elbows forward because that's going to be the shape of the pose. Okay, elbows forward, and yet head of the arm bones back. Okay, so elbows forward, head of the arm bones nice and deep in the shoulder joints, starting with the chin level here with the horizon. Press your head into hands, hands into head, and you want to feel your sides igniting the sense of length and space. I've got this counter resistance, and now I'm going to start lifting the sternum, tucking the chin, and pressing my hands into head into hands in such a way that it feels good. It all feels good on the neck. Okay, if it doesn't feel good for you, you need to back this up, realign, revisit, only as long as it feels safe. So I'm really pressing, okay, pressing my hand into head, hands into head, head into hands. Okay, lengthen, and just exploring to what degree here can I tuck without feeling like I'm going to sacrifice all the length, the sense of ease. Even if you don't do the full expression, flipping this around, you can find a lot of benefit and release of neck and shoulder tension by exploring that option. And now here's where all kinds of options come in. So you could enter this from Setu Bandha bridge pose, okay? You could have a wall. I have a chair nearby, a folding chair, okay, just one of these. So if you don't have a wall nearby, you might find it helpful to use that. I'll just show you how, okay, if you were to use a blanket, how you might use it. So again, this would go underneath the shoulders, okay? And usually we need to have a way to stick to the blanket because it's often, we're going to kind of feel like we're slipping off of it. So this is the positioning. Okay, so the head is off, and this supplies the needed lift for the gap in our flexibility, or maybe just we want more support. So that I just want to show, because ultimately I won't be using the blanket. So just to kind of show, okay, coming up in this, okay. Now I have a little bit more ease around my neck because I've got the support of the blanket, the lift, okay. And then I'm just going to carefully go ahead and exit. So I just wanted to show, okay, where a blanket might come in handy, okay. But again, it will hinder. If you put any sort of blanket support underneath your head itself, it's going to hinder you, and you don't want that, okay. So I'm going to set that to the side. So we have some support potential, okay, to ease the space here around the neck. Sometimes the difficulty is getting the seat up off the ground. So many options. I'm just going to get myself fairly close here. So you kind of scooch close to a wall, all right, and then use the wall, okay? So you can push off, all right? You can also put your feet on a chair. Once I'm up, I'm not going to look around, okay? So I just want to, do you want to keep your neck really steady and stable, okay? So you could use this, you could use a chair, but the first thing you want to do, or maybe you're in supported bridge, but either way, you want to get those arms underneath you like you have that strap. So they're not just, you could interlace your fingers and you could use that to your advantage, but if you can't interlace your fingers, no worries. Okay, but you still want to feel that you're actively pulling in toward the midline and you've got some anchoring, okay? So I've got this. Now because I've got the wall, okay, I have a little bit of, I'm not going to look around. I have to tell myself that. A little bit of an edge here, okay? But right, we have the hands somewhere supporting and then coming up. Don't worry about whether or not you can straighten your legs, okay? All that. You might be keeping one foot at a wall as you take the other leg up. What's really the biggest thing here is keeping the sense of space and length in the spine, okay? So I'll just show this one more time. Standing, just to kind of give you an idea of this. So we wouldn't want to be flipped around in shoulder stand like this, okay? But it's really easy to have that happen when we flip around, but then it's absolutely a miserable position, okay? Whereas this, even if the knees are bent, one leg's up, one leg's at the wall or on a chair, the length of the spine gives our body, mind, energy, everything a sense of calm, and we can breathe and really get all the benefits of the position, okay? So you want this sense of space in the shoulders, pulling energy in toward the midline while it's also coming up, okay? So up, in toward the midline, lengthen space. We want to be able to breathe while we're in it, hence you don't want to turn your head, okay? But you really want to focus more on this lift versus whatever's going on here. We need to keep space, 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 and more space. So the headstand is the king of our practice. Shoulder stand is our queen. Okay, so I'm going to come into this how I would usually come in. Okay, usually I would come into this from a bridge pose. Okay, whether I have blocks underneath the sacrum or not. And I'm setting this up, center lines parallel, drawing energy up in toward the midline, lifting the seat, really pulling, okay, energy in. It just so happens that my hands can easily clasp, okay, but they're active, lengthened, and then supporting here, okay, and yet still pulling energy in toward the midline, taking one leg up, no collapse, okay, taking the other leg up, still no collapse, and then bringing the hands a little bit higher up the body, but really being focused here, okay, on that sense of space and length between the sternum and the sacrum, right? As though I'm on the balls of the feet. I don't know if they're in the camera, but I'm reaching through the balls of the feet. I'm expanding through the toes. A wonderful segue, okay? So you send the seat back, bring the legs down, whether they're bent or straight, into a plow, and yet still not collapsing, okay, through the spine. I'm really trying to stay long, unconcerned with whether or not my toes will actually touch the ground, okay? And then your exit just has to be safe, okay? So usually I'm going to go down one vertebra at a time, okay? Still finding, enjoying the length. Okay, but a safe exit, okay? Safe exit, that's what matters most. Yours might be a little bit quicker, okay? That's okay. As long as it doesn't feel like it's going to harm the neck in any way. So when you're visiting your entry, you want to consider your exit, okay? While you're in the position, enjoy the length and space, and also start to visualize how will you exit. So many ways of getting in, so many ways of exiting. It's a fantastic pose. Your feet could stay at the wall and just enjoy the length and space in the spine. Okay, so everywhere, okay, in every phase, you're still doing a very valid version of shoulder stand, okay, as long as you're not feeling this in the pose. This would be awful, okay? This would feel good. I hope that you enjoy practicing shoulder stand. I would love to hear from you. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.